largest museum to display monuments of the ancient Egyptian civilization in the world. Now, thousands of artifacts have been moved from the Egyptian Museum, including the statue of Ramses II, of course, with the great celebration that we have all witnessed. And the museum will also contain rare monuments, including treasures of King Tutankhamun that will be displayed for the first time. And as we have seen throughout this edition of Nile Cruise, there is constant work in order to prepare the treasures of Tutankhamun for the soft opening. In order to shed more light on the display and the artifact displayed here at GEM, we are very much delighted to have with us Mrs. Noman, display director here at GEM. Thank you very much, Ms. Mona, for being with us.
Thank you. Let me first welcome you again in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Thank you.
I know that you came last year, and as you see now, the progress that we made in the project, you can notice how huge is the museum. First of all, we are working now for the first phase, the partial opening of the museum. We are transferring objects for the Tutankhamun collection. Lately, we moved the golden bed for Tutankhamun, the funeral bed, and also the chariot, the third one from the Egyptian Museum, to the storerooms of the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes. Now, I understand that actually the museum has its own scenario, the display itself. So how is it going to be? Like I understand, for instance, the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities, one floor is chronological, other floor is by objects. Here, how would the display be like?
Yeah. First of all, we have the two galleries of King Tutankhamun because it's the major collection for the museum. Mm-hmm. And after that, we have other four galleries. The first one is for prehistory dynastic until the first intermediate. Mm-hmm. And the second one is starting from the Middle Kingdom to the second intermediate period. And the third one goes for the New Kingdom. And the last one and the fourth one goes for the rest of the history of Egypt from the late and third intermediate period and for the Greek-Roman period. The museum includes artifacts from the prehistory until the Greek-Roman period. For sure, the gallery of Tutankhamun will be the most famous thing, and the one that will be for the soft opening with the grand staircase. The grand staircase will contain huge statues for different kings and queens, and some architecture elements from temples and tombs, and some coffins for the most famous kings and queens from ancient Egypt. We make a scenario for having a storytelling for the museum that we hope it will be different from the rest of the Egyptian museums. For sure, we have a chronological line with the families of ancient Egypt, and also we have main 5 themes for the rest of the galleries. The main 5 themes will include the first one about land of Egypt. It talks about the natural of Egypt during the history of Egypt. It has a different changes, and that will be shown in different elements, not only the objects, but every object and each collection will contain a story about it. And also interactive elements to support the object and give the interactive feeling for the visitor, and make an entertainment around the history. The second one is about the kingship and talks about the dynasties of Egypt. From the prehistory until the 30th dynasty. It talks about kings, queens, and the officials, and princes and princesses, and how was the life into Egypt during this period. The third one is talking about the life of common Egyptian for the craftsmen and about the handcrafts and everything. We had a lot of artists in ancient Egypt, so we have to show that to hold the world. And about religion, the fourth one, because the religion was the main aspect of life in ancient Egypt and everything was depending on it. So we will have a general idea about all the deities of Egypt and how it affected life in Egypt. The final theme, it will talk about evolution of knowledge that shows the different excavations and different inventions that the ancient Egyptian made.
Okay, Ms. Mona, what are the monuments that recently arrived here at GEM?
As I said, as we are planning for the soft opening with Tutankhamun collection and the grand staircase, the main objects that are arriving lately was related to Tutankhamun's collection. So we had the chariot of King Tutankhamun, and we are planning to have the last one from the military museum this week. And also we had the funeral beds from the Egyptian museum. And also we had the Merenbetah column, and for sure we already settled Ramses' statue in his final place right now.
Now, for the atrium itself, you said that actually it will have many statues of different kings of Egypt. I understand that you've received already the statue of King Moses III.
Yes.
So would you tell us more about the statues that you have arrived, and tell us about that particular statue? Where would it be?
I actually want to say that not Tutankhamun or Ramses II or even Thutmose III that is the special pieces in the Grand Egyptian Museum. We will have more special collections and more special objects, and some of them are displayed for the first time. So it's like exploring the ancient Egyptian history more and more again.
So would you tell us some of the names of the kings or statues, important statues that will be placed in that grand entrance?
Like we have the collection of Hur Muhib and collection of Mekitra and collection of Queen Hetep Heres. We have a lot of collections and a lot of statues that very important in the history, and the more important is what we are exploring. For example, for Tutankhamun collection, we have new objects that are displayed for the first time. And actually in the conservation center, I call it the exploring center because they keep exploring the objects that transfer to them nowadays, and they keep giving us more information about the objects, and we are getting more and more for the visitors.
Yes. Mona, you are the display director here at GEM, and display is a very key word when it comes to showing the world your civilization and the greatness of the Egyptian civilization.
Yeah.
Perhaps this was one of the main issues that I faced when I visited the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square. The display, well, I would say that there was a problem in display of the pieces. How can we overcome this? Or what are the plans of providing a better display for all the special monuments that you said and artifacts that will be displayed here in the museum?
As you can see now, we have a huge building to display every ancient Egyptian object. The place of display is about 60,000 square meters. So now we have free space for every object to feel free and to give the visitors the ability to discover and to deal with the object. It's different from the Egyptian Museum because the Egyptian Museum is smaller than the Grand Egyptian Museum. If you look at the Tutankhamun's gallery, it's 4 times that it's in the Egyptian Museum right now in Tahrir Square. So we are trying to make the showcases itself wide and very sophisticated to the object.
But it's not only about space. I mean, yes, here it is bigger and
I
wider.
will tell you something else.
Yes.
We are trying to make a scenario for the visitor to let him have a story about the object.
Yes, that's very
not
important.
Not only that object putting into a showcase and nothing about it. He have to feel life with the object. So we are trying to give information during the display by photos, videos, interactive media. We are trying to make it amusement as much as we can.
Now, I understand that you've received, according to Dr. Tariq Said Tawfiq, more than 32,000 pieces are under restoration, and that the capacity might be 42 to 50,000. So to what extent is that true? And tell us more about the objects that have arrived and the ones that are expected to arrive.
Okay, the museum was planned from the beginning to have 50,000 objects to be displayed and 50,000 other to be in storerooms. The stored objects are not for keeping in storerooms, but they are planned to have for study. And also, if we have temporary exhibitions, we will get objects from the storerooms. Or if we have broad exhibitions or some outdoors exhibitions, we will need to get the more objects from storerooms or from other museums. And also we need to innovate the display after many years, so we need more objects to do that. Until now, we prepared 30,000 objects to display, but the capacity, as you said, is for 50,000. If we found objects new in the future, for sure, we will have free space for them. And we have 2 halls for temporary exhibitions, which have plans for different exhibitions in the future.
Okay. What are the different halls and sections here at GEM?
In GEM, as I said, we have the atrium and the piazza and the grand staircase. And we have also the gallery of Tutankhamun, which is considered as a museum itself. And we have the 4 galleries for the rest of the objects. And also we have more facilities. We have a conference center. We have a children museum, educational center, in addition to the stores and restaurants. And we will have like a tourism area. As it was planned for the whole area and from the place of the museum until the place of the pyramids. It will be a huge, very huge actually project, and we will have free space for people to enjoy the plants of Egypt. We will have a very big landscape here outdoors.
Now, definitely moving the statue of Ramses II,
Yes.
it was a mega festivity that was, it's the least is that it was an international festivity, and definitely that must have required a lot of preparations for it to transfer the statue from its storage to where it is now. So would you talk to us about what happened behind the scenes for transferring the statue of Ramses II in situ?
Yeah. Actually, many people worked for that, for the preparation and everything. From the time that the statue reached the site many years ago, they prepared it and was supporting it with different elements, and they had different studies about any possibilities, any cracks that may happen to the statue from the engineering and from the archaeologists and from everyone in the museum until it was transferred to its place right now.
What are the pieces or artifacts that have never been displayed to the audience before?
As I said before, Tutankhamun's collection contains around 5,000 pieces. The ones that was displayed in the Egyptian Museum was less than 25% of this number. So we have large number of objects from Tutankhamun that wasn't displayed before. And we have a lot of objects from storerooms, from sites that wasn't displayed before.
Now, definitely registering these artifacts must have been quite an ordeal, because you have to do all the numbering and the stone, the material and the description, the location, if it's unknown provenance or known provenance and all that. Now, I recall the Egyptian Museum, it was all these cards, the cardboard cards and all the writing in all the various books. Is it the same, or are you going more to digital technology? Tell me more about the registering of the artifacts.
Okay, for the registry, we have a database department. They are working for registration for each object. When they receive the object, they make the photography and the measurements for each object and the weight of it. And they get information from the register book. And if we have some missing information, we keep research for them to continue the registration operation. And after that, in the display itself, we are working for making the labels very interesting for the visitor. We are working with the consultant company to make the labels for Tutankhamun collection, and for the grand staircase, we have made the introductory text and the labels with 3 languages, English, Japanese, and Arabic. And for the rest of the galleries, it will be in English and Arabic. And it contains very useful information for the visitor. And also we try to make it in panels, big panels on the wall. And also they will have digital informations on screens or mobile applications. Also in the website, where they will have information. There will be a limited access to the database of the museum to let researchers and anyone need more information to have this information he needs.
Will there be some sort of library or place where people can come here and conduct further research if they are not satisfied with the information that they are receiving from all what you have said,
Yeah.
and they need to further investigate certain things, will there be any library here provided?
Yes, for sure. There will be a big library for the museum, and there will be a digital library also. And for sure, we will welcome any researcher or study for improve our facilities.
Now, to what extent would the museum be user-friendly for individuals with special needs?
There will be a section for special need people, and also for the Children Museum and Educational Centers, there will be a department for that, and all the facilities inside the museum will allow the visit of special need for to be easy and to be comfortable for them.
Okay. What type of experience are you gaining from other world countries when it comes to museums and what they offer? Because we have the Japanese expertise in this regard, but
Yeah.
also I believe that many European countries around the world have huge experience when it comes to museum. They can make museum out of anything, and we
Yeah.
have so much to offer to the world.
Yeah.
So did you collaborate with museums from around the world in order to enhance or provide a better display here?
Yeah, for sure. Most of the employees in the museum had courses and training sessions in different countries and different museums in German, England, and in different countries, and Japanese also for sure. And also we have a conference for King Tutankhamun that will be held next Saturday. It's an international conference for GEM. We have different professors and doctors from different countries around the world, and they offers the papers and researches, and we have an open discussions all the time, and also we have like an open network with other museums. They keep giving us informations, and they keep working with us to improve the display of the museum.
Now, usually, those who are involved with museums are graduates of the Faculty of Archaeology. And we have a museum department there, but the science of museology is not as strong yet in Egypt. So you've mentioned that some went abroad to take courses, but are there certain courses that you're giving here at the museum for them? Because definitely museology is a totally different thing than archaeology.
Yeah. Okay, I cannot deny that the museology wasn't in focus before, but I can say in last 10 or 8 years it's in focus right now, and most of the archaeologists now focus on studying museology and for research about it, and we are trying to improve the common people idea about museums. We are not working for foreigners only. We are trying to have programs and events with Egyptians and for national visitors to have the interest about the museums. We trying to have an engagement with the GEM.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Mona Noman, the display director at GEM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mona.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be going to a quick break, but we'll be back for more on Nile Cruise, so stay with us.